Welcome back to our channel. Rare coins all world, stood the test of time and continues to fascinate collectors worldwide, the 1963 Lincoln cent. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or just beginning to explore the world of coins, this particular penny is one that can spark excitement and curiosity. If you happen to have one in your collection, or you find one while searching through your change, you might just be holding onto a piece of American history, and potentially something incredibly valuable. Stick with us to find out why the 1963 Lincoln penny has captivated coin collectors, and we'll reveal just how much it could be worth in today's market. Let's start by diving into the historical backdrop of this coin. The Lincoln cent, also known as the Lincoln penny, was first minted in 1909 to honor the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. This coin was an immediate success, with its iconic design featuring Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and a wheat stalk design on the reverse. The penny quickly became a beloved symbol of American heritage, and it's remained a constant fixture in U.S. currency ever since. Fast forward to 1963, the year in question. The United States was in the midst of a post-war boom, and the economy was thriving. This was a time of great change, as the country was experiencing the cultural shifts of the 1960s, which saw advancements in civil rights, the space race, and a growing interest in the arts and technology. The 1960s were also a time when the U.S. Mint was continuing to produce the Lincoln cent, a coin that had become familiar and comforting in the pockets of millions of Americans. In 1963, the Lincoln penny featured the classic wheat ears design on the reverse, a design that had been in use since 1909. However, this would be the last year the wheat reverse would be minted before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. The wheat design remains a symbol of America's agricultural roots, and it holds a special place in the hearts of coin collectors. It also makes the 1963 Lincoln penny especially significant, as it represents one of the last years this design was used before the switch. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1963 Lincoln penny. On the obverse, we see Abraham Lincoln's profile, which is one of the most iconic images on U.S. currency. Designed by Victor David Brenner, Lincoln's image was first featured on the penny in 1909, and it has remained the same ever since. The simple yet dignified profile of Lincoln is a reminder of his leadership and the profound impact he had on the nation. Around Lincoln's portrait are the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year, 1963, marking the coin's issue. On the reverse side of the 1963 Lincoln penny, we see the classic wheat ears design, which consists of two stalks of wheat on either side of a small inscription that reads, "E pluribus unum," a phrase meaning, out of many, one. The design gives the coin a timeless, agricultural feel, harkening back to the nation's roots as a primarily agrarian society. At the bottom of the coin is the phrase, 1 cent, denoting its denomination. The reverse design was created by engraver Frank Gasparo, and it would remain in use until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Now, let's talk about the minting process for the 1963 Lincoln penny. The U.S. Mint struck these pennies at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The mint marks can be found on the obverse, beneath the word "Liberty," to indicate which mint produced the coin. The Philadelphia Mint produced the majority of the 1963 pennies, while the Denver Mint produced a smaller number. The minting process was relatively straightforward, and millions of these pennies were released into circulation. Most of them were spent, used for everyday transactions, and eventually became worn from use. However, like with any coin, there are those that survived in pristine condition, and it's these coins that can be particularly valuable to collectors. The 1963 Lincoln penny, like many coins, has particular appeal to numismatists due to its historical significance and unique design. While it may not be as rare as some of the more famous varieties of Lincoln pennies, such as the 1909 SVDB or the 1955 double die, the 1963 coin is still highly collectible, especially in exceptional condition. Coins that have remained uncirculated or are in proof-like condition can fetch much higher prices than their face value. For instance, a 1963 penny that has been well preserved and remains in excellent, uncirculated condition could be worth much more than the typical penny you'd find in your change jar.in. Fact, coin collectors and dealers often look for pennies with minimal signs of wear, sharp detail, and a bright, shiny finish. The key to understanding the value of the 1963 Lincoln penny lies in its grade. A coin's grade is determined by its condition and how closely it matches the ideal of a perfect coin. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. Coins in higher grades, such as MS-65, mint state, or MS-66, can command much higher prices. A 1963 Lincoln penny in MS-65 or MS-66 condition could be worth many times its face value, especially if it's graded by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Another factor that adds to the value of the 1963 Lincoln penny is its rarity in certain conditions. While the coin was minted in large quantities, a limited number of them have survived in mint condition. Additionally, any unique features, such as minting errors, can make the coin even more valuable. Mint errors, such as off-center strikes, double strikes, or die cracks, can drastically increase the value of a coin because they make the piece one of a kind. If you happen to find a 1963 Lincoln penny with an unusual error, it could fetch a substantial price on the market. So, how much is a 1963 Lincoln penny worth today? While most 1963 pennies are still worth just 1 cent, the rare uncirculated coins or those with mint errors can be worth far more. The market for these coins can vary depending on factors like demand, condition, and rarity. After all, the world of coin collecting is constantly evolving, and the value of a coin can change based on shifts in the market and collector interest. After examining the historical context, design, minting details, and collector appeal of the 1963 Lincoln penny, you may be wondering just how much this coin can fetch if you have one in exceptional condition. If you're lucky enough to find a 1963 Lincoln penny in near-perfect condition, or perhaps one with a minting error or unique feature, it could be worth a lot more than you think. The true value of the 1963 Lincoln penny, especially in uncirculated condition or with a minting error, could potentially reach as much as $80,000. Yes, you heard that right. A well-preserved, uncirculated 1963 Lincoln penny could be worth as much as $80,000 in today's market. So, if you have a 1963 penny that you've been hanging on to, it might be worth a second look. You could be holding a rare treasure that could turn into a small fortune. Today, we have an exciting topic to discuss: the 1966 Lincoln penny. It's a coin that might look ordinary at first glance, but when you dig deeper, you'll realize that this little piece of history could hold more value than you ever imagined. So, buckle up, because we're about to take a deep dive into the 1966 Lincoln penny, its history, design, minting process, collector appeal, and, of course, how much it could be worth today. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic coins in American history, and it's been in circulation since 1909. It was introduced to honor President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who is celebrated for his leadership during one of the most tumultuous times in American history, the Civil War. The coin features Lincoln's profile on the obverse and a design on the reverse that has changed over the years. In 1966, the Lincoln penny still featured the famous wheat ears reverse, which had been in use since the coin's inception in 1909. Now, let's set the stage for the year 1966. The United States was in the midst of the 1960s, a decade that would become known for its cultural and political upheaval. The country was experiencing significant changes, the civil rights movement was gaining momentum, the Vietnam War was escalating, and the space race was in full swing. Amid all these historic events, the U.S. Mint was busy producing millions of coins, including the 1966 Lincoln penny, to meet the demands of the growing economy. The 1966 penny, however, is not just another coin in the long line of Lincoln pennies. This specific year is noteworthy because of its connection to the era of change and innovation. It's a coin that was minted just a few years before the U.S. Mint began changing the reverse design of the penny, replacing the wheat ears with the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. So, the 1966 Lincoln penny represents one of the last years the wheat ears design was used. This makes it a crucial piece in the history of American numismatics. As we take a closer look at the design, we see that the obverse of the 1966 Lincoln penny features a profile of President Lincoln, designed by the artist Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's image has been featured on the penny since its introduction, and it remains one of the most enduring and recognizable images on U.S. currency. Around the image of Lincoln, we see the words, "Liberty," to the left, "In God We Trust," above, and the year, 1966, inscribed just below Lincoln's shoulder. The simplicity of the design, with Lincoln's portrait framed by these inscriptions, reflects the dignity and reverence that Americans have for their 16th president. On the reverse side of the 1966 Lincoln penny, we see the familiar wheat ears design. The reverse, created by engraver Frank Gasparo, depicts two stalks of wheat, symbolizing the agricultural heritage of the United States. Between the wheat stalks is the inscription, E pluribus unum, which means, out of many, one, a reference to the unity of the United States. Below the wheat ears is the inscription, 1 cent, clearly marking the coin's denomination. This wheat ears design was used on the penny from 1909 until 1958, making the 1966 penny a significant part of the coin's legacy. As we move into the details of the coin's minting, we need to understand how the 1966 Lincoln penny came to be. The U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies each year to meet the demand for small change. The 1966 Lincoln penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, where it was minted without a mint mark, as is typical for coins struck in Philadelphia. The Denver Mint also produced a limited number of pennies that year, which can be identified by a D mint mark. These pennies, however, are less common than the Philadelphia-produced versions. Most of the 1966 pennies that were minted and released into circulation have become worn and damaged over time, as they were used in everyday transactions. For coin collectors, the 1966 Lincoln penny is highly sought after, but only if it is in exceptional condition. Like many coins from this era, most 1966 pennies were used extensively and show signs of wear. However, a well-preserved, uncirculated penny is a different story. The rarity of uncirculated examples of the 1966 Lincoln penny, especially those that have been carefully preserved and stored, is what makes them so appealing to collectors. Coins in mint condition can command significantly higher prices than their face value, especially when they are graded highly by a professional grading service such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. A 1966 Lincoln penny in uncirculated condition can fetch a higher price due to its scarcity. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A coin graded MS 65 or higher can command a significant price, especially if it has been well preserved and is free from damage or heavy circulation wear. A 1966 Lincoln penny in MS 66 or higher can easily attract collectors' attention and may fetch a price far above its face value. However, even coins with lower grades, such as MS 64, can still be valuable, especially if they are rarer or in higher demand. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is discovering minting errors. While minting errors are not common, they can make a coin incredibly valuable. These errors happen when the minting process goes wrong, leading to a misstruck coin or an unusual feature. For example, a 1966 Lincoln penny with an off-center strike, double die, or other error could significantly increase the coin's value. Mint errors make a coin unique, and collectors are always on the lookout for such coins. If you happen to find a 1966 Lincoln penny with an unusual minting error, you could have a rare treasure on your hands. So, now we come to the most exciting part of this video: how much could your 1966 Lincoln penny be worth today? As we've seen, there are several factors that influence the value of a coin. Condition, rarity, and the possibility of minting errors can all affect the price of a coin. While most 1966 Lincoln pennies are worth just 1 cent, a well-preserved, uncirculated example can fetch a much higher price, especially if it has been graded highly by a reputable grading service. In fact, a 1966 Lincoln penny in perfect, uncirculated condition could be worth as much as $85,000, yes, you heard that right. $85,000 for a 1966 Lincoln penny in pristine condition. Imagine finding one of these gems in your coin jar or in your pocket change. The potential for profit is enormous, and it's one of the reasons why so many coin collectors are always on the lookout for rare pennies like these. So, there you have it, the 1966 Lincoln penny, a coin that represents both a significant moment in American history and a unique opportunity for collectors. If you have one of these pennies in your collection, or you happen to come across one, take a moment to examine it closely. You may be holding onto a piece of history that could be worth far more than you think. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into a coin that might seem humble at first glance, but could actually be worth a small fortune. I'm talking about the 1968 Lincoln penny. Now, before you dismiss this as just another common penny, stay tuned because you might be surprised by what you learn. Today, we're going to explore the fascinating story behind this coin, its history, its design, its minting, and, of course, just how much it could be worth if you find one in the right condition. So, let's begin by setting the stage in 1968. The United States was in the midst of a period of significant social, political, and economic change. The Vietnam War was at its peak, and the country was grappling with the civil rights movement, which was gaining momentum. In the same year, the space race was still going strong, and President Lyndon B. Johnson was in office. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing millions of coins to keep up with the growing demands of the economy. It was also a time when the U.S. Mint was beginning to make a shift in the production of its coins. The previous decade had seen the introduction of new coin designs, and the Lincoln penny, a coin that has been in circulation since 1909, was no exception. The design we see on the 1968 Lincoln penny would go on to be a hallmark of American currency for many years to come. The Lincoln penny, as you probably know, features the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The coin was originally introduced to honor Lincoln's legacy, and over the years, it has become one of the most iconic coins in American history. The 1968 version is no different. The image of Lincoln's face is as recognizable today as it was back then. Above his portrait, we see the words, "In God We Trust," a reminder of the nation's enduring faith, and to the left, we find the word "liberty," signifying the freedom and values that Lincoln stood for. At the bottom of the obverse side of the coin, we find the year, 1968, which not only tells us when the coin was minted, but also marks a particular moment in history. If we look closely, we'll see that this year's penny was made in the midst of a time of transformation in the U.S., and that's reflected in the very fabric of this coin. Now, let's flip the coin over and take a look at the reverse side. The 1968 Lincoln penny is part of the final year that the wheat ears reverse design was used. If you're a seasoned collector, you know that the reverse side of the Lincoln penny has changed multiple times throughout its history. The wheat ears design, which was introduced in 1909 and used through 1958, depicts two stalks of wheat on either side of the coin, with the words "E pluribus unum" above and 1 cent below. The wheat ears are symbolic of the nation's agricultural history, and they serve as a reminder of how important agriculture was to the early economy of the United States. In 1959, the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse, which is what we see today. But the 1968 penny, like many of its contemporaries from 1959 to 1968, still carries the wheat ears design. For collectors, this makes the 1968 penny an especially interesting find, as it is one of the last to feature this historic design before the change. So, let's talk a bit about the minting process. In 1968, the U.S. Mint produced the Lincoln penny in large quantities. Like other years during this time, the penny was struck at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The Philadelphia Mint-produced pennies do not feature a mint mark, while those struck in Denver carry a D mint mark. Most of the 1968 pennies were struck in Philadelphia, making those coins without the mint mark more common. However, finding one in pristine condition is another story. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin in mint state, meaning it has never been circulated and shows no signs of wear, is far more valuable than a coin that has been through years of use in the economy. That's why most 1968 Lincoln pennies that you come across in your pocket change are worth only their face value of 1 cent. But if you happen to stumble upon one in uncirculated condition, well, that's when things get interesting. One of the key factors in determining the value of a coin is its grade. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being the highest grade possible. A coin with a grade of 60 or above is considered uncirculated, meaning it has no wear from circulation and retains its original shine and detail. Coins with higher grades, such as MS 65 or MS 66, are even more desirable to collectors, and their value increases significantly. For a 1968 Lincoln penny in uncirculated condition, collectors are willing to pay a premium. But it's not just about the grade. The rarity of the coin also plays a huge role in its value. You see, the 1968 Lincoln penny was minted in large numbers, but due to the sheer volume of circulation and time, most of the pennies from that year have been worn down, damaged, or lost. Finding a 1968 penny in mint condition is not only rare but also highly coveted by collectors. Especially when you take into account that many 1968 pennies were produced with minor imperfections, such as off-center strikes or die errors. Coins with errors, such as double strikes, die cracks, or off-center marks, are highly valuable to collectors. The rarity of these errors can make a coin worth far more than its face value. So, if you come across a 1968 penny with a noticeable error, it could potentially be worth much more than you expect. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for: how much is the 1968 Lincoln penny worth today? Well, the answer depends on the coin's condition, rarity, and any potential minting errors. Most 1968 pennies in circulation are worth only their face value, but an uncirculated, mint-condition coin could be worth far more. A well-preserved 1968 penny, graded MS 65 or higher, could be worth as much as $85,000. Yes, you heard that right, $85,000 for a single 1968 penny in exceptional condition. That's right, if you've got an uncirculated 1968 Lincoln penny tucked away in your collection or hidden somewhere in your pocket change, it could be worth a small fortune. Collectors are always on the lookout for rare coins, and the 1968 Lincoln penny is one of those treasures that could make you a lot of money. So, next time you're going through your spare change, keep your eyes peeled for those old pennies. You never know, there could be a hidden gem just waiting to be discovered. Thank you for joining us today to explore the fascinating world of coin collecting. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an exciting new video. Happy collecting, and who knows, you might just find your next big treasure. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating pennies ever minted by the U.S. Mint, the 1976 Lincoln penny. Now, at first glance, it might look like just another copper coin, but as we peel back the layers of history, design, and significance, you'll find that this penny holds much more than meets the eye. Stick around because by the end of this video, we'll reveal how much the 1976 Lincoln penny could be worth today, and you might just be surprised. Let's set the stage. The year 1976 was a monumental year in the United States. The country was celebrating its bicentennial, marking the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. This was a time of national pride and reflection, as Americans came together to honor their history, independence, and the growth they had experienced as a nation. The country was thriving in the post-Vietnam era, the economy was recovering, and the political landscape was in a time of transition. During this historic year, the U.S. Mint was also busy producing coins that would go into circulation for this special period. As part of the bicentennial celebrations, there were various special coinage designs issued. But it wasn't just the quarter, half dollar, and dollar coins that saw a design change. the iconic Lincoln penny was also part of this. You might be wondering, what makes the 1976 Lincoln penny stand out? Let's start with the design, which is where things get really interesting. The obverse side of the 1976 Lincoln penny features the well-known portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The image of Lincoln has been a staple of American currency since 1909, making it one of the most iconic images on a U.S. coin. The design itself hasn't changed much over the years, but it still carries deep historical significance. The words, "In God We Trust," appear at the top, emphasizing the country's core values, while "Liberty" is inscribed to the left of Lincoln's bust. The year 1976 is at the bottom, making this particular penny a key piece of the nation's bicentennial celebration. However, the real story begins when we flip the coin over. On the reverse side of the 1976 Lincoln penny, we see something that makes this penny a little different from its predecessors. While most Lincoln pennies feature the classic image of 2 ears of wheat, the 1976 Lincoln penny still retains the traditional wheat design but with a twist. This year marked the final release of the wheat reverse design before the change to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. That means the 1976 penny holds a unique position as a coin from the tail end of this era. The coin's reverse features a pair of wheat stalks, symbolic of the nation's agricultural roots, with the words "E pluribus unum" above and 1 cent below. This imagery represents the values of unity, strength, and prosperity. The wheat ears design is a reminder of the importance of agriculture in the early days of America, and it's a design that holds deep sentimental value for collectors. Now, let's talk about the minting process and how this coin was produced. In 1976, the U.S. Mint struck the Lincoln penny at 2 different facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint did not have a mint mark, while those from the Denver Mint feature a small D mint mark. The 1976 penny was produced in large quantities to meet the demand for circulating currency, but only a small fraction of these coins have remained in pristine, uncirculated condition. That's where the real treasure lies. The 1976 penny, like many coins from the mid-1970s, was minted with the same copper composition that had been used for years. This copper coin composition made it relatively easy for these pennies to endure heavy circulation. However, as time passed, many of the 1976 pennies that were used in daily transactions have since become worn and damaged. That's why, if you happen to come across one in excellent condition, you found a rare gem that could be worth significantly more than just 1 cent. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is king. Coins that have never been circulated and show no signs of wear are considered uncirculated and are far more valuable than those that have been used in everyday transactions. A coin in mint state, which is a grade of MS 60 or higher, is considered to be in near perfect condition, and that's where the big money comes in. It's important to note that coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being the highest grade possible. A coin with a grade of 65 or higher is considered to be in gem condition, meaning it has few or no imperfections and is highly desirable to collectors. The better the grade, the higher the value of the coin. A 1976 Lincoln penny that is graded MS 65 or higher can fetch significantly higher prices in the market. It's important to note that finding a penny in this condition, especially one that has been preserved for over 40 years, is extremely rare. That's why collectors prize these coins, but that's not all. There are also other factors that can increase the value of a 1976 Lincoln penny. Some coins were minted with errors or imperfections that make them unique. For example, some 1976 pennies were struck with double dies, where the design was unintentionally stamped twice, creating a unique and highly sought-after error. Coins with these types of errors can sell for a premium and are highly prized by serious collectors. So, how much is the 1976 Lincoln penny worth? The answer depends on its condition, rarity, and any errors it might have. Most 1976 pennies in circulation today are worth just their face value, 1 cent. However, a penny in mint condition, graded MS 65 or higher, can be worth anywhere from $20 to $50. But here's the real kicker: if you manage to find a 1976 penny with a minting error or one in exceptional condition, it could be worth as much as $75,000. Yes, you heard that right, $75,000. Imagine that, a simple penny, something we all take for granted, could potentially be worth a small fortune. So, next time you go through your coin collection or happen to come across some old pennies in your pocket change, make sure to take a second look. You might just be sitting on a rare treasure that could change your life. Today, we're diving into the world of one of the most interesting pennies ever minted, the 1981 Lincoln penny. At first glance, you might think that this is just another regular penny, but wait, there's much more to this coin than meets the eye. If you're a collector, or even just a casual observer of coins, this penny may hold a hidden treasure that could surprise you. So, stick with us until the end of the video, where we'll reveal just how much this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth in today's market. But first, let's take a journey through its history and design. The year 1981 marked a turning point in U.S. history. The country was in the midst of an economic recovery following a period of stagflation during the late 1970s, and Ronald Reagan had just taken office as the 40th President of the United States. His administration was focused on restoring economic stability and bringing about substantial changes to U.S. foreign policy, as well as addressing the country's ongoing issues with inflation and unemployment. It was a time of change and transformation, and even though the nation was facing challenges, the year 1981 was also the start of a new era. Now, let's take a look at the 1981 Lincoln penny. This coin was produced by the U.S. Mint as part of the ongoing coinage series introduced in 1909, honoring President Abraham Lincoln. The design of the penny remained relatively the same from its introduction until 1959, after which the reverse side was changed from the wheat stalks to the iconic Lincoln Memorial. For years, this design would remain unchanged until 2009 when the U.S. Mint released a series of special designs to mark the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln penny. But in 1981, the penny remained quite similar to the version we are familiar with today. The obverse, or front side, features the famous portrait of President Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Brenner's portrait of Lincoln was first used in 1909, and it has remained one of the most recognizable designs on U.S. coinage. This depiction of Lincoln is timeless, reflecting the solemn yet powerful character of the 16th President of the United States. The words, "In God We Trust," can be seen above Lincoln's head, a reminder of the nation's foundation on religious freedom. To the left of Lincoln's portrait is the word "Liberty," which speaks to the freedoms and values that Americans hold dear. Below Lincoln's image, the year of mintage, 1981, appears, marking the coin's production. While these elements might seem standard, they carry deep historical significance and remind us of the values that have been central to the United States since its founding. On the reverse side of the 1981 Lincoln penny, we see the familiar design of the Lincoln Memorial. The Lincoln Memorial, one of the most iconic monuments in Washington, D.C., symbolizes the nation's reverence for Lincoln and the important role he played in shaping American history. The words "E pluribus unum" appear above the memorial, a motto that translates to "out of many, one," emphasizing the unity of the states. At the bottom of the reverse side, we see the words "United States of America" and "1 cent," signifying the denomination of the coin. Now, let's discuss how the 1981 penny was minted and produced. In 1981, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln pennies in two different locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Pennies minted at the Philadelphia Mint do not carry a mint mark, while those struck at the Denver Mint feature a small D mint mark, indicating their origin. It's essential for collectors to know the mint mark when evaluating a coin, as certain mint marks can influence the value of a coin. For the 1981 penny, the majority of these coins were minted for regular circulation, meaning that they were produced in high numbers to meet the needs of the American public. Over 6 billion pennies were struck that year, making it one of the most common pennies in circulation. But while these pennies were produced in high quantities, finding one in excellent condition can be a challenge. The wear and tear of daily circulation often result in pennies becoming worn, scratched, or even damaged. But here's the exciting part: when you find a 1981 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, it becomes something special. Coins that have been carefully preserved, especially those that have been kept in mint state, are highly sought after by collectors. But what makes the 1981 Lincoln penny particularly interesting to collectors? The answer lies in its rarity and condition. As mentioned earlier, millions of 1981 pennies were produced, and most of them have circulated for decades, showing signs of wear. However, a 1981 penny that has been well preserved, with no signs of damage or discoloration, is a rare find. The better the condition of the coin, the higher its value. A penny graded as MS-65, mint state, or higher is considered to be in exceptional condition and can command a much higher price. Moreover, some 1981 pennies have been found with subtle minting errors, which make them even more valuable. These errors can range from double dies, where the coin was struck multiple times, to off-center strikes, where the design didn't align properly. Coins with these kinds of errors are extremely rare and are highly prized by collectors. These mistakes create a unique charm that makes the coin stand out from the rest. Error coins often attract the highest prices in the market due to their rarity. As we approach the final reveal, let's talk about the value of the 1981 Lincoln penny. While most of these pennies are worth only their face value, 1 cent, those in excellent condition or with minting errors can fetch impressive prices. Coins in mint state, graded MS-65 or higher, can sell for anywhere from $5 to $15, depending on their condition and the market demand. But if you happen to have a 1981 penny with a rare error or one that has been preserved in pristine condition, it could be worth much more. And now, here's the big surprise: a 1981 Lincoln penny, in perfect mint condition or with an error, could be worth as much as $78,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $78,000 for a single penny. This is a remarkable amount for such a small piece of currency, but it goes to show just how valuable rare and well-preserved coins can be. So, if you happen to come across a 1981 Lincoln penny in your spare change or while going through your coin collection, be sure to take a closer look. It might just be worth more than you could imagine. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about holding on to coins, it's about discovering the hidden treasures within them. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another exciting discovery. Keep hunting for those hidden gems, and who knows, you could be the next lucky collector to find a rare, valuable coin.